the intersection of spirituality and science. Welcome to first episode of Kaalasya series of Sanatan Dharma Relevance to Reality, where we explore the profound connections between ancient wisdom and modern science. I'm your host, and today we are diving deep into a topic that bridges the gap between spirituality and science, drawing on ancient texts and modern understanding. Imagine this, a single atom, the fundamental building block of our universe. It's composed of electrons, protons and neutrons, working in perfect harmony. Now, consider this, a parallel from spiritual texts, where Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, the Hindu Trinity, represent creation, preservation and destruction. Just as electrons, protons and neutrons form the atom, these deities form the essence of the universe in spirituality. But what do these seemingly different perspectives have in common? Today, we are going to explore just that. Let's start by understanding the atom. In science, an atom is the smallest unit of matter, composed of three fundamental particles: electrons, protons and neutrons. These particles work together to form everything we see, touch and experience. Similarly, in spirituality, particularly within Hindu philosophy, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh are the forces that create, sustain and dissolve the universe. These forces are not just deities to be worshipped but symbols of the cosmic functions that govern our reality. What if I told you that the concept of good and evil, Dev and Asur, can also be seen through this lens? In science, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Positive and negative outcomes are intrinsic to any process. Similarly, spirituality speaks of Dev forces of good and Asur forces of evil existing in a delicate balance. Just as scientific processes can lead to both constructive and destructive outcomes, the spiritual forces within us can lead us toward enlightenment or downfall. This brings us to a critical realization. The essence of what many refer to as Hinduism is not about worshipping external deities or adhering to rigid rituals. It's about understanding the eternal truths, Sanatan Satya, that govern the universe. These truths are not confined to religious practices, but are universal principles that can guide us in every aspect of life. Our ancestors, the ancient sages of India, preserved this knowledge for millennia. But over time, we have confined these profound teachings to the rituals of temples, mosques, churches and gurudwaras. We've transformed the wisdom of texts like the Bhagavad Gita from a guide for life into a mere object of worship. The Gita is not just a holy book to be kept on a shelf, it is a manual for life, meant to be lived, experienced and internalized. Let's shift our focus for a moment. In the scientific world, the atom is an indivisible entity, yet its components, electrons, protons and neutrons, are in constant interaction, creating balance. Similarly, spirituality teaches us that the Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh is not about three separate gods but about understanding the unified force that creates, sustains and dissolves the universe. These forces are within us, shaping our lives, our actions and ultimately, our destiny. The sages of ancient India, whom we revere as rishis, may have used the stories of gods and demons to convey deeper truths. These were not just tales to be taken literally, but symbolic representations of the forces at play within us. The battle between Devas and Asuras is a reflection of the struggle between positive and negative qualities within ourselves. It's a struggle that science also recognizes, albeit in different terms. Both science and spirituality agree on one thing: balance is key. Just as an atom must maintain balance to exist, so too must we balance the forces within us to live harmoniously. In the spiritual sense, if the balance is disrupted, it leads to what we perceive as dharma and adharma, righteousness and unrighteousness. In the scientific sense, imbalance leads to chaos and destruction. The parallels between science and spirituality are striking. Science teaches us that every creation has both positive and negative outcomes. Spirituality teaches us that for every good quality, there is an opposing force. Both perspectives remind us that balance is crucial, whether it's the balance of particles within an atom or the balance of qualities within ourselves. Perhaps this is why the sages of old chose to frame their teachings in the form of stories about gods and demons. These stories are not just ancient myths, but profound truths about the nature of the universe and our place within it. As we move forward in our modern world, it's essential to reconnect with these ancient teachings not as rigid dogmas, but as guiding principles that help us navigate the complexities of life. In closing, remember this: the knowledge contained within our ancient scriptures is not limited to one religion, one culture, or one nation. It's a heritage that belongs to all of humanity, offering insights that are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. By understanding the true essence of these teachings, we can bridge the gap between spirituality and science, between the ancient and the modern, and between ourselves and the universe. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the intersection of spirituality and science. I hope this episode has sparked some thoughts and inspired you to explore these ideas further. Don't forget to subscribe to Kaalasya YouTube channel for more thought-provoking discussions. Until next time, I am your host from Kaalasya Team. Wishing you peace, balance and enlightenment. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring the mysteries of the universe. Goodbye. Note: content of the podcast taken from blog post written by Mr. Sultan Singh on his blog Vicharvarum.